Well, hello everyone, it's Sheila back again. I'm going to show you a pattern today, and a little bit more complicated than the ones I've been showing you, but I'm going to show you the actual pattern that I took it from. This was a pattern I got out of a book while I was sitting in a hospital waiting room waiting for my husband years ago, and this sweater I'm wearing is a version. I knit this a lot of years ago, and doesn't fit quite as good as it used to. It's a little bit tighter than it was. And this was what I knit from this pattern, and naturally at my age I didn't want a midriff showing, so I made it a bit longer. So it's very, very easy pattern to do. It looks complicated, but it's not. And this one that I'm wearing was just odd balls of wool I had left over from probably some baby things I had been knitting. Only wear it in I would have to lose a lot of weight to wear it again, but only wear it in the summer normally. And I also have another sweater I made, another variation of this pattern, and I'll also show you that one. I'll have to change this one first. This was the other one that I knit. As I can see, it's a lot different. I made long sleeves on this one, and it's another one I usually only wear in the summer, but I have worn it in the winter with the little, those little strappy top things, just the little thin straps and on. Otherwise, there's a lot of holes in it, and it is a bit drafty in the winter. So I'm going to show you how to do the stitches for this, and if anybody would like the pattern that I showed you, I'll put my email address in the description box, and if you just send me a message, I'll send it in. If you have a computer or even a phone, I think you can do it in PDF form, but I've also got just photographs of it as well. So if anybody would like the pattern, just email me and I'll send it to you. So now I will show you how to do the stitch. It's a little bit more complicated than the ones I've been showing you, but it is fairly easy. So you start off with knit one, slip one stitch, knit one stitch, pass the slip stitch over, you knit two stitches, you yarn forward, knit two stitches, yarn forward, knit two more stitches, and you knit two stitches together, and you slip one stitch, knit one stitch and slip that slip stitch over, and knit two stitches, yarn forward, knit two stitches, yarn forward, knit two stitches, then knit two together and knit one stitch, and that's the first row. There is quite a few rows, but they're all the same, and I'll show you as I go along. The second row is purl, I'll pause that until I get let's purl to the end of the row, and the third row is exactly the same as the first row. Knit one stitch, slip one stitch, knit one stitch, pass the slip stitch over, knit 2 stitches, yarn forward, knit 2 stitches, yarn forward, knit 2 stitches, knit 2 together, slip 1, knit 1 and pass the slip stitch over, knit 2 stitches, yarn forward, knit 2 stitches, yarn forward, knit 2 stitches, knit 2 together, knit 1. That's your 3rd row. 4th row is purl, now pause that, and that's the end of the purl row. That's your 4th row. Now we're on to the 5th row. Is the same as the other 2 knit rows that we've done. Knit 1, slip 1, pass slip stitch over, knit 2, yarn forward, knit 2, yarn forward, knit 2, yarn forward, no, there's no yarn forward, it's just knit 2, made a mistake there. Let's knit 2 together, slip 1, knit 1, pass slip stitch over, knit 2, yarn forward, knit 2, yarn forward, knit 2, knit 2 together, and knit 1, and that's your 5th row. And you do that until you do the 8th rows. So this is the 6th row, purl, I'll pause that until I get to the end. And that's the end of the purl row, the 6th row. And the 7th row, the same as the other ones, the other knit rows. Knit 1, slip 1, knit 1, slip the pass the slip stitch over, knit 2, yarn forward, knit 2, yarn forward, knit 2, knit 2 together, slip 1 stitch, knit 1 stitch, pass the slip stitch over, knit 2, yarn forward, knit 2, yarn forward, knit 2, knit 2 together, and knit 1. That's your 7th row. Get some wool out. And the 8th row is purl. pause that till I get to the end. I'm at the end of that purl row. And now we're on to the 9th row. And the 9th row is the last one before the garter stitch in the middle here. So it's the same as the other ones. Knit 1, slip 1, slip 1, knit 1, sorry. Pass the slip stitch over, knit 2, yarn forward, knit 2, yarn forward, knit 2, knit 2 together, slip that stitch, knit the next stitch, pass the slip stitch over, knit 2, yarn forward, knit 2, yarn forward, knit 2, knit 2 together and knit 1. And that was the 9th row. And the 10th, 11th and 12th rows are all knit, a garter stitch. So I'll pause that until I get and knit the last 3 stitches. Another 2 rows and garter stitch and pause. And 3 more rows, 3 more stitches, sorry. One more row, garter stitch. And pause that till I get to the end. So that's the 12 rows of the pattern. But there's only actually 2 rows. All the rest of these rows up here are the same rows repeated, 2 rows, the next 2 rows, the next 2 rows and so on, and 3 rows of garter stitch in the middle and the same up the next panel. And it's not as complicated as it looks. It's quite simple. So if you like my video and would like to see more, thumbs up and subscribe.